Hey, everybody. There we go. Success.
Hello.
Lithobreaker. What's the Scalia video game reference? There was a case that the Supreme Court heard about basically whether or not games deserve First Amendment protection, and Scalia's ruling was essentially, I don't care about video games, but yes, obviously movies and books, and then of course video games should be protected under the First Amendment. Yes. And after his death, a bunch of video game sites were like, paragon of video game defense, Antonin Scalia. And other people were like, he didn't do that because he liked video games. He did that because he likes the First Amendment. He's otherwise kind of an ass.
Also, that wasn't like a big stand that he was taking. Like,
no,
he wasn't the deciding vote or anything on that thing. Like, it
wasn't.
That was a relatively.
But he wrote the
official
whatever
word,
it's called. I can't remember.
the official ruling.
Yeah. Is there nothing to do in the division? No, there's stuff to do in the division. I just assume that it's.
Once you've got to max level.
Once you get to level 30 in the game and level 99 in the dark zone, then obviously the game is terrible and there's nothing to do, right?
Turn that back on.
Is that crinkly cut from the parsonage? It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Denny's Twitter account already making iPhone SE jokes? I mean, the Denny's Twitter account is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Denny's Twitter account, probably one of the best Twitter accounts I've seen.
I'm pretty I'm actually kind of excited about the new. I mean, I probably won't be getting the new iPhone, but the SE.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of there being like the next phone I get. I'm not really in the market for an upgrade right now,
Mm-hmm.
but the next one I get, there's a good chance that I would want to get that one. I don't know. Maybe I have small hands. Maybe I have normal size. I don't know. But I find like I've got an iPhone 6, not even the Plus, and I do find it's a bit of a stretch to get the
Fit
top
Orion,
corner.
I'm worried that the Loading Ready Run Twitter is going to tweet in like 20 minutes or something, because that's what happened. That's what happened yesterday.
Should just get it to tweet like, "You have just missed checkpoint." Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up on the LRR without context. Yeah, I love that Tumblr. I don't know who runs it, but it's great. So, anyway, let's talk about
Stories.
So, the digital trade-in thing. Literally, all that happened is that they sent out a survey and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in this?"
Mm-hmm.
With the options. That's not the right story. There we go. If the console digital game store for the console you owned offered customers the option to sell back their digital games to the store for 10% of the purchase price in store credit, would you be interested in such an offer? Yes, for many of my digital titles. Yes, but only for a few titles I no longer play. No, or don't know, not sure.
What's particularly interesting is whether it would be 10% of the retail price of the game or 10% of what you paid for the game.
It said purchase price.
Right. So that would be
10% of what you paid.
So you can't you can't get a whole bunch of stuff on sale
Yeah.
and then sell it back.
Yeah, 10% of the purchase price, yeah.
So yeah, because which takes away a lot of the benefit because it's whatever. Assuming this was if this was on Steam or something, it would be like people who have 1 trillion games on Steam because they bought them as part of a big thing that they never want to play. You can't be like, I'll send these all back, because it would be like, okay, we'll give you 10 cents for that one.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew. We did a story about EA.
So anyway, it's all obviously it's still in question. There's kind of the article kind of went into this interesting idea of if you sold that license, if you sell your license back to the manufacturer,
Mm-hmm.
can they then resell that, and then you have like a used digital game?
I don't think that works.
Which I think they were, I think they were kind of going off on a weird tangent there that doesn't make any
they
sense.
depreciate it somehow.
Yeah.
That, like, maybe it'll just skip, and they're like, oh, that's what you get for buying used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just downsample all the textures
Yeah.
by like 20%.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That'd actually be pretty funny.
Yeah.
If it's just like you can resell a game, but every time you resell it,
It just gets worse.
the textures get downsampled by like 20%, or just get like, all the textures get like JPEG encoded.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
And so then like eventually they're just all covered in artifacts.
Have you seen that video? It's a clip from King of the Hill of Hank Hill saying, "Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?" And it's only like 10 seconds long, but over the course of it, they've applied like more and more and more and more generations of JPEG filtering.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like headphone warning because the sound gets awful at the end of it. But it's just like, do I look like I know what a JPEG is? It gets like completely...
Because it's all...
Because it's like multi-generational
nice.
recompression of the video. And so the sound
Nice.
gets awful as well. Anyway, I just like that. So yeah, they've sort of talked about an a PS 4.5
And
some sort of other Xbox
yeah,
thing.
they definitely...
There's not a lot of information about this, just that they're both theoretically working on it.
Yeah. PlayStation 4.5, in terms of a name, works. Xbox 1.5 does not work.
No.
Like Xbox One, like
that was
spelled
bad
out
enough
one,
anyway.
only kind of barely works.
Yeah.
Xbox 1.5 would be just like, this is really old now.
Yeah.
This is
Xbox 1.5. Xbox 2.
Xbox, it's I think they're actually, if they tried to do, like, if they do that as an actual, like, the only way they could do it is if they also sold like an add-on thing. Like if they sold like a thing that you could like hook on to your current box that made it more powerful, and then also sold one that had that already integrated into it.
Yeah.
That would be, I think they could get away with that. If they just straight up do, it's like, what does it mean when it says like, we're gonna do a new version of it during this console generation? It's like, if you put out a different PlayStation, that there are games that don't work on it, or that work on it that won't work on the previous one, that's just a new console generation. You've just made a new console.
Also, like, I need, when I'm at home, I need my glasses for playing HD games if I'm sitting on the other side of the room because the text is so small. I don't want 4K console games.
Well, yeah. I mean, presumably, it's not going to be like they're 4K so that they're sharper.
Oh, I know.
Not that everything's so teeny.
No, I know.
in the screen.
I know. But it's like, what I'm saying is the difference, it's not going to be an appreciable difference. Like, even now, if you show someone on TVs, if you show them 4K video and 1080 video, most people can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And you would need to have a 4K television.
It's going to be a while before we're at the point where 4K... The one area where 4K is interesting is... I mean, 4K and VR kind of go together because you get the high resolution stuff. But, yeah, I would rather... Yeah.
Mr. Juggling Bear, yes. We will be welcoming all of the subscribers at the end of the news.
Let's stick to 1080, but more reliable frame rates. How about that?
Ooh. Yes. Ferret Badger, it'll be later tonight.
This stream is not 4K, I'm afraid.
No.
Although, apparently, I believe the YouTube streaming thing, you can't actually stream 4K. Theoretically.
But why?
But nobody can see it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But apparently, actually, saying not even Netflix uses 4K, but they are planning on it. And apparently, that's actually part of how this leak came out, is that somebody at Netflix mentioned that apparently they have been assured by Sony that they will be able to support 4K video in the Netflix app at some point in the future.
Interesting.
But anyway.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is going to be in UFC, or is in UFC 2.
Which is not like it's obviously there's lots of he's sort of like half Easter egg.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think it's great.
And like there have been lots of Easter egg people in fighting games, of course. It's not a big deal. But the funny thing is though, in this particular game, he's also the announcer.
Yeah.
So he's like announcing himself getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Or, winning, presumably.
I want to see if they do that. If it's like if he
like,
has to do it like, oh, there's Joe Rogan, or if he has to be like, there's me getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, I can barely watch myself. Oh, it's so terrible.
I haven't seen any clips with the actual announcing on, so
I'm assuming that the stats aren't. I mean, they have stats in terms of like how old he is and all this stuff, but presumably like his abilities in the game are better.
I mean.
He's a legit.
His stats in terms of like height, weight, and reach are accurate.
Yeah,
but I
mean, I'm not in no way dissing Joe. I mean, as
like I said in the story,
yeah,
he's a big guy. He could absolutely kick my ass.
And I believe he has done
some amount of fighting,
some sort of at least MMA stuff.
Yeah.
But he's 48.
Yeah.
Which in UFC terms is pretty. That's pretty old, and he's not an active fighter right now.
Yeah.
So I presume that he would not have the stats that he would actually have in real life, because that would be just kind of depressing.
Yeah. The Batman Telltale series, they talked a little bit about that. Like we said, the script for episode 1.
Yeah.
And they said that there's going to be a lot of, there's a lot of options and everything. And one of them is that you can play, not all, but a lot, most, they said, of the game you can play as Bruce Wayne, and that there's options. There's places where you can choose to be Batman or Bruce Wayne, and you can just be like, nope, I'm Bruce Wayne, which
seems like a weird like marketing aspect for a game.
Yeah,
for a Batman
for
game,
a superhero game.
Hey, you can play as Bruce Wayne. Isn't that amazing? It's like, not really. It's like playing Bruce Banner in the Hulk game, right? It's like,
yeah.
I mean, Bruce Banner even is cooler than that, but it's just like, but yeah, of course, how Bruce Wayne would deal with problems. It's like,
I guess the tweet just went out.
Why would Bruce Wayne? Presumably, like when you're playing as Bruce Wayne, you're like doing more like investigative stuff or non-punching and kicking stuff.
I guess so, yeah.
But it's like, why would Bruce Wayne do anything other than it's like, oh man,
throw a Wayne around.
It's like, oh man, the Riddler's got this is a really tough riddle. What could the solution possibly be? I have to save all these people from dying. Hey Riddler, I will give you $500 million if you tell me the answer to this riddle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yup. But it seems sweet, and Telltale is great, so I'm sure it'll be.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's the first, but it's R-rated.
Oh,
which is interesting.
That is interesting.
I mean, R-rated.
M.
It's not actually
M for mature.
Well, I think they actually said like R-rated, which is probably as in like
I see.
An idea of what the content is.
Right.
They haven't made it yet, so it hasn't been like viewed, but it is more mature.
Is the game supposed to be mid-Batman origin story? I think it's mid-Batman because in the trailer he's already like millionaire playboy socialite Bruce Wayne. So
it's supposed to be sort of comic booky style too.
Yeah. Oh yes, and then so this big Madden story, which I thought was kind of interesting, that EA asked for the case to be dismissed, and the Ninth Circuit Court said no, and so EA asked the Supreme Court to rule on it, and they said no. And it's the article on Polygon actually talks to an IP partner at the law firm Dorsey and Whitney, who is saying
law firm.
What did I say?
Law film.
Law film. They could make a film about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're lawyers on TV.
Yeah. saying that by deciding not to hear this case, the Supreme Court is leaving unanswered an important legal question about how to weigh the First Amendment against claims like trademark infringement and the right to publicity. So the lower court still has little guidance as to what the proper standard is on how the First Amendment interacts with state law claims, which would have been a perfect vehicle for the Supreme Court to provide much-needed guidance in this area, because right now there are multiple different tests used by lower federal courts to figure this out.
The Supreme Court is like,
this is the opinion of someone who's not involved in the case, by the way.
Supreme Court is like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. But, yeah, it does seem like pretty, like...
There's a thing with, like, when with cases that are, like, at this level, where it's like, nobody has made any, like, there's no rulings on this actual case at all.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like years before there's actually a ruling. Like there's been this huge legal battle about whether the case is going to get dismissed. Like the big legal battle right now is just whether the case is being heard. If it's, the Supreme Court they got a court to rule on it. They went to appeal and lost the appeal. They tried to appeal to the Supreme Court. This is all before the case has ever been talked about in a courtroom.
Yeah. RV Leshrak, you're asking about the college football thing. This is from the 15th, so this is also very recent. That case was settled to the tune of $60 million, which averaged out to about $1,600 per claimant. So it's not, it wasn't amazing.
We did a story about that like quite a while ago.
The settlement was set in June 2014.
Again, all these things take forever to actually go through.
But it's now been divided up by claimants, and so each claimant gets $1,600. This is a different one. This is NFL players who they're like they have like the height, weight, ethnicity, appearance.
Like it actually is using their picture,
the performance, their stats, but not their name.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's not you. It's like it's kind of me, and give me money for it, because...
And it's like one, it's kind of me. Two, you knew it was a bad thing because you changed the name.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, if you thought that you were clear under the First Amendment, you would have kept the same name because you were just like, this is the guy. But the fact that you're trying to weasel out of it by changing the name is,
What's this? Did you hear about the new BioWare IP thing at GDC? What? Someone basically tweeted he walked around GDC with their new IP and no one noticed? What? That's a weird way of doing it. BioWare's new IP was revealed at GDC, but nobody noticed. Oh, and neither did we, apparently.
I mean, nobody... I guess if there's...
Why couldn't they just make up the players? Well, because that's the point, is that they wanted to use real players, because the game is about being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't want to pay them.
It's like that.
So they used fake names.
It's like that game we were talking about last weekend, the baseball one, where it's like...
Baseball Manager or whatever.
Yeah, where they put in like 150,000 players from the historical minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea being that, obviously they licensed all the stuff, and this idea that having the real player there with the real stats and the real name and all the real stuff is part of what people really like about these games.
Okay. So the guy was wearing a T-shirt okay. That's pretty cool. But of course nobody noticed. If I was at GDC and I saw someone wearing a T-shirt with a design I didn't recognize, I would just assume it was League of Legends.
Or it was, I mean, I would assume it would be anything else. You wouldn't sort of immediately go, hey, that's a new IP from some popular company.
BioWare?
It's like, that's a cool looking T-shirt.
Yeah. Some stories we did not talk about. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's an interesting article on Polygon about Henrik Lode. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but she did a talk at GDC about Game Jam games that she's wanted to make that no one else is interested in making, and it's just kind of an interesting read.
The big thing about it she was talking about is that game jams are often, because you're thrown together with like people who are they're sort of strangers often. You're sort of thrown together in a group, don't have a lot of time, and they often kind of fall down into this sort of not lowest common denominator, but sort of known. It's just like even if your concept is innovative.
Well, because you're also under time pressure.
Yeah, you're under time pressure and stuff. So, like she was saying, what she wanted to do at her game jam was make a pregnancy and birthing simulator.
Yeah, she wanted to do a game about being someone with no medical knowledge being forced to deliver a baby, right? With no knowledge of how to deliver a baby.
And then she, which immediately makes me think of Surgeon Simulator, which seems bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, and apparently the rest of the people in her team were concerned about how the graphics would be.
Yeah.
Which I think is a reasonable concern.
So it turned into a racing game where you're trying to get to the hospital fast because you have to deliver a baby.
Right. So it's like doesn't actually mean anything in terms of the concept. It's just a racing game. And so she was saying, all these sort of ideas that are games that she'd like to make that are not what she calls like the typical sort of power fantasy style games where it's like I am the best at whatever this particular thing is.
But anyway, it's just an interesting article on sort of like weird ideas that she's had.
So the other thing is so a lot of these stories came out of GDC because that happened this last week. So the story, it's actually quite fascinating. The story of Diablo. David Brevik, who is one of the lead developers for it. For one thing, it wasn't a Blizzard game, which I didn't realize.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
It wasn't originally a Blizzard game. So it was this guy had an idea for this game, like in college, and had like written up on paper and stuff. And it was originally going to be like a turn-based. Basically, the only thing that is similar to how Diablo actually is.
Hey, look, we're live on Twitch!
Yay!
I was waiting for that to come through. Damn it!
But the only part that's like similar to what Diablo is now is there's going to be an isometric view. Other than that, it was going to be turn-based. It was going to be you're going to be like a whole team.
Okay.
It was going to be more like a sort of a roguelike style. So it was like a whole different thing. And so he was running a different company that were doing. This is actually really funny. They're running a company and they were making a Justice League, or they were making or porting a Justice League fighting game, just as one of the things the company was doing to kind of make ends meet for Sega Genesis or something. And they went to a trade show where they're showing off this Justice League game, and they looked across, and Blizzard was there showing off the exact same Justice League game, but for Super Nintendo. Like they had been hired by the same company to port it to Super Nintendo, but the company hadn't told these two companies that they were working on the same game. And so they got talking about doing stuff. And then later, and this was before Blizzard was Blizzard. Blizzard was had a different name. When Blizzard went on its own and started doing. They did Warcraft, Orcs and Goblins, or Orcs and Humans, and then they were looking for a new IP, and so they started talking about making Diablo. But
that's so weird. Also, GDC, you probably heard about this. There was a Microsoft-hosted party with sexy schoolgirl dancers hours after Microsoft gave a talk at GDC about how to encourage women to join the games industry. And it's bad when, that there's been a massive communications breakdown within Microsoft somewhere when the head of Xbox marketing is hearing about this on Twitter and going, that sounds like a terrible idea. I need to look into this.
It's just like...
And Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, is like, this is not what we wanted to have.
Yeah. I mean, So the comment I was reading on it, which I thought was actually pretty insightful, I guess, is that Phil Spencer did this letter that was like, we're really apologetic. This does not reflect the values of Xbox and Microsoft and stuff. And one of the comments I read on that was like, yeah, it does. That's what reflects your values is what you do until you stop doing this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but those are your values.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want, but what actually happens is what your company is.
Mm-hmm.
And for one thing, I want to know who the hell this happens like over this happens over and over again. Like 2 years ago there was 2 or 3 years ago there was the IGDC independent game thing that had a similar problem where they had a bunch of scantily clad people dancing there.
Who on the marketing team has never been on the internet? How does it keep happening?
But it's like there's the independent game thing that was such a thing that like 3 directors quit from their board of directors, and it's just like, who's the company that keeps planning these things?
Yeah, I don't get it. So that was awkward.
And it's people obviously different types of parties are for different things, and there's obviously a place for parties where there's sexy people dancing, but it's just not
GDC,
and
certainly not.
And even if it is GDC, it's just the doing it right after the panel on
encouraging women to join the industry.
Join the industry. It's just so tone deaf.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. In Ark Survival Evolved, which is an open world survival game with a crafting system, you poop. Your character poops from time to time. Just like drops a dooker right out the back of their pants. Even if they're wearing clothes, it looks like. It just sort of appears. Same with the animals. The animals poop in the game.
Which is apparently a bit of like when you're playing the game, it's just like a bit of a shock the first time it happens.
Yeah, you're like, but there was, at GDC, there was an interview with someone who worked on the game who was saying that, so the poop is a crafting item also. And because you can use it to make stuff. But what they use it for, or what the reason it was originally added to the game, or at least one use for it, is that they realized that because of the world is procedurally generated and everything, and you could get stuck, and they didn't want to have like a suicide button. Like they didn't want to have just like a button,
like restart,
a button to respawn or whatever. They wanted to figure out some way in the game where you could get out of being stuck in a place. And so if you eat your poop, then you die. But it's an in-game thing. So the poop is there to avoid putting in a suicide key. So, and then they were like, wait, poop, that's a resource. And then so they made everything poop, and now you can use it as a crafting thing. So
you can like make fertilizer and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not. I'm assuming. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's
No, you
like,
can't make fertilizer. Yeah.
It's like you can't like build a house out of it.
No, I don't think so. Although maybe wattle and daub. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Too much daub. Less daub, more wattle.
So, yeah. There you go. Thought that was kind of funny. And
why would you eat poop? Well, because you want to die.
If you're trapped, because you want to die, because you're trapped in a cave and you can't get out. And then I saw a couple people in chat mention it, so I guess we can also mention it. There was a story that our buddy Jim Sterling is having legal action attempted to be taken against him by a development group called Digital Homicide for
digital hummus,
what they claim to be libel, because he said a bunch of stuff about their games being bad because their games were bad, and
well, now you're getting sued too.
I'd like to see them try. So, basically they're they're sort of like the text from their suit is really funny to read because they have to like lay out everything that they feel was like a actionable slight against them, and it's sort of like I read through it and I was thinking they do not have a lot to stand on here. So yeah, it's he obviously hasn't been saying much because it's an ongoing legal thing. He's just sort of been saying there's a thing going on that some of you know about, and thank you for your support, but I have it under control. Is basically what he's been saying. So, yeah. Slander isn't actionable if it's true. I guess. So, yeah.
It's yeah, that's I guess I don't know. Yeah, if you could prove that the game was actually bad,
I don't know.
It's yeah, obviously sort of a situation where they're trying to intimidate.
Yeah, it's. I mean, one of the things is he's sort of like they have a problem with him saying that they used stock assets, and I think he says like it looks like they just.
Oh right, they tried to crowdfund the.
They did try to crowdfund their legal thing, but
Yeah.
GoFundMe says you can't do that.
And also people were donating like 1 cent increments
Oh right,
to make the fees go higher than the actual amount.
that's so needlessly mean. It's kind
I
of.
feel like
funny.
that's justifiably mean.
Yeah. How amazing would it be if this went to the Supreme Court? This is never gonna.
It'd be awesome if this went to the Supreme Court instead of the EA one.
Yeah.
Like no, this actually is.
Yeah, I am not a lawyer, and I have not spoken to Jim about this, but I don't predict this case getting anywhere. I predict it be thrown out pretty quickly.
I'm just imagining Jim like arguing in front of the Supreme Court, but like doing it in character.
Which character?
But
Just like rubbing pogs all over himself.
No, it's like Jimquisition. So he just like ends. He's like ends all his things with "Thank God for me." So, thank God for me, and I rest my case.
Yeah. Alrighty, let us take a look at the subs today. Oh yeah, even if I was a lawyer, I'd be a Canadian lawyer and probably not terribly useful in this situation. That is correct.
I mean, if that case does actually like come into anything, it's one of those things where it's like everybody knows it's stupid.
Yeah.
But because of the the sort of Byzantine legal system, it's like technically it is actually a problem.
Yeah.
Which would be super annoying. But anyway.
Digital Homicide are the people who called him Jim fucking Sterling's son. That's true. Also, I should mention they're asking for $10 million. Which
presumably
is bold. Basically because they're saying that I think more than half of that is that they're saying that if Jim hadn't given them negative press, then they would have sold like $5 million whatever plus dollars of games.
Wow.
Which is bold claim.
Also, that means what they're saying is that Jim saved many people from buying that game.
Yeah.
Like if they were selling it for $10.
They got more publicity out of Jim than anything they ever would have done otherwise.
If they're selling it for $10, Jim saved 500,000 people from buying that game. That's pretty impressive.
That's true. Hulk Hogan did just get a $150 million judgment, but that was a totally different thing.
Very, very, very different.
Yeah. Also, man, watching the video of the Gawker people on the stand is just like, do you guys realize you're in court?
This is not like a forum on the internet.
Yeah.
You are real people.
It's crazy.
There was, oh, dear. Yeah.
Anyway, that's true. We bought the Slaughtering Grounds. There you go. They got money from us only because of Jim. So there you go. He's done more good than harm.
That's right. They might have sold more copies. It's true. Yeah.
They probably did.
I will say about the Gawker thing, Gawker can get fucked for all I care.
Pretty much.
It makes me sad that if it does actually go down, then there are obviously, like, we know people at Kotaku and various other places. And so it would make me sad if it sort of brought down the entire thing, you know. I saw somebody was talking about Deadspin.
I don't think I personally know anyone at Kotaku at the moment. But
Somebody was talking about they're saying they like Deadspin, and I mean it's the same thing. It's like, you know, whatever, Kotaku has died for Gawker's sins, is basically, or, you know, all these, you know, IO9, and there's like some other good Gawker sites that obviously had nothing to do with this problem.
Yeah.
But if Gawker goes down, then that's all going to go poop, and a bunch of cool people will probably get.
Well, as someone said, like Kotaku and Deadspin and maybe Jezebel will probably get sold off. But yeah, like they had a lot of their individual brands could very easily get spun out.
Yeah.
But
who knows?
Anyway. All right. Sub-welcoming. Let's do it. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-boo. Right. Harmless Penguin has subscribed. That's a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel, Harmless Penguin. Thank you so much.
Very suspicious name, if you ask me.
Yeah, why bring it up?
Yeah.
Why not just say penguin? Why?
I mean, nobody is going to say, watch out for that penguin, it looks really dangerous.
Yeah. But when you come out and you say, I'm a harmless penguin, then now I'm worried.
Yeah, it'd be like, why do you have to, what are you hiding?
Escherichia3 with a 26-month resub. Welcome back, Escherichia3. Thank you so much for 26 months of support.
Harmless Penguin says legal reasons.
The Museless One with an 8-month resub. Welcome back, The Museless One. Thank you for 8 months. The Bentusi with a 26-month resub. Welcome back, The Bentusi.
Woo!
A new subscription from Catherine0852. Welcome, Catherine0852. I think you might have subbed once before, or maybe a different Catherine number. I could be wrong.
Turns like Catherine, pretty common name.
Yeah. 08. I like the 0 though. It's future proofing.
It's true. It's true.
0852. Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. Betsy the Ripper with a 25-month resub. Welcome back, Betsy the Ripper. Thank you for 25 months of support.
I like deeply suspicious penguin. Somebody.
Yeah. Dead Rekka with a 3-month resub. Welcome back, Dead Rekka.
Dead Rekka.
Hibbity Bobbity. New subscription from Hibbity Bobbity. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much.
It's somebody who I've definitely seen around, but perhaps let it lapse.
Or just in the chat. I've done that before where I've been like, you're a new, you've subscribed before, and they're like, no, I've just posted a lot. I'm like, oh, welcome, saying like welcome to the channel for a new subscriber when they've obviously been around for a while is a little weird. But anyway.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome. Squid Force 1 with an 18-month resub. Welcome back, Squid Force 1. Thank you so much for 18 months of support. Zoltas 9 with a 3-month resub. Welcome back, Zoltas 9.
Squid Force 1 against the Zoltas 9.
Hibbity Bobbity says they found cash in the attic.
Awesome. Nice.
MT Storm with a 6-month resub. Welcome back, MT Storm. Thank you for 6 months. Freezer Assassin with a 20-month resub. Thank you, Freezer Assassin. Very much appreciated.
Yeah. You take out those freezers.
Yeah. Toidle. It's a Whittle Toidle with a 24-month resub. 2 years from Toidle. Toidol with a picture of a turtle. So it's obviously, it's a Toidle.
It's a little teen.
It's a little Toidle. I like Toidles. The Architect Unstructured with a 25-month resub. Welcome back, The Architect Unstructured. Thank you for 25 months. Mattman08. Mattman with a 5-month resub. Welcome back, Mattman. And Nathan Longhair. He's Nathan and he has long hair. And 6 months of subscriptions.
There's a picture to prove it.
Thank you, Nathan, for 6 months of support. I can't not think about Square One TV now. Every time Mattman subscribes, I'm just like, Mathman. I like the one where Mathman just takes off, and Mr. Glitch has to run the maze.
Right.
It's like, you, Mr. Glitch, have to do this. He's like, what? Oh, okay.
I remember as a kid not understanding how television works.
Yeah.
Always being like, oh my God, there's so much tension here. Is he going to win? I don't know.
so invested in Mathman.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's like, maybe one day it'll work.
The point is, you should. The point is, I want them to. Yay, says Matt Man. It's a good thing. It just it reminds me of Square One. It was a really good show. I really want a DVD release of that show because the only versions you can find online are like
like potato quality. Yeah.
Big.
Unfortunately, yeah. From what I understand, like the licensing for it was really weird.
I bet.
Because it like they sent it like it was broadcast originally, and they like another company like bought it all up and repackaged it.
Yeah, as a different show.
And like cut it up, chopped it up, and repackaged it as like a thing to actually like show in classrooms.
String Cheese Riot, a new subscription from String Cheese Riot, which sounds like my kind of riot.
It's a bunch of string cheese riot. Oh.
Why? It's in my eye.
Police brutality.
The police just have larger string cheese.
It's like budget cutbacks, you know.
When you outlaw string cheese, only outlaws will have string cheese.
It's fine.
God, America has such a string cheese problem. Here in Sweden, we've banned string cheese, and I don't know why I said Sweden. String cheese incident is an actual band. Is it really? Oh.
Police brutality cheese.
Was that to the tune of Zoot Suit Riot? It was.
Yeah.
Bare Knuckle Intimacy has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, Bare Knuckle Intimacy. Your avatar clearly has gloves.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe the gloves are being worn, but just the intimacy that's bare knuckle.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, you could bare knuckle back rubs. You could really like get in there. That's, back rubs are kind of intimate, but I guess
maybe it's like a metaphor.
Yeah. Maybe. I heard recently, was it a You Don't Know Jack? It was something. It was some sort of trivia thing that like the Zoot Suit Riot like was a thing. It was an actual thing. That's probably not a good idea to make a song about. I'm trying to remember now. I have to look this up because
the
now
Zoot Suit Riots.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a series of racial attacks during World War II. And I heard about that at a trivia contest.
It's one of those like branding things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you've got it's just unfortunate that the outfit happened to have a silly name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Los Angeles riots.
Right.
In the
Yeah.
40s.
Just like imagining making like a really like upbeat swing song about the Rodney King verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a marketing thing. It's just hard to have something scary when it just happens to be that a Zoot Suit is a funny name.
It really is. Well, thank you so much, Bare Knuckle Intimacy. I really appreciate it. Welcome back. Speaking of new subs, Randon35. Randon35, a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel, Randon. The amazing Randon. Oh, and Unspoken Kibbles with a 12-month resub, 1 year.
1 year of not speaking about kibbles.
Yep. We don't talk about the kibbles. They are unspoken kibbles.
Yeah. You can talk to him about literally anything else. Just ixnay on the Ibbles K.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's part of the thing with the song is that it is ironically upbeat.
It's not clear if the song is actually referencing the riots themselves. I think it kind of is.
I mean, by saying Zoot Suit Riot, it does kind of reference the riot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. Oh, goodness me. Sergeant Oblivious with an 11-month resub. Only just remembered to resub.
Nice.
And almost missed it. Sergeant Oblivious. Thank you so much for your 11 months of support. And Chef of Death with a 7-month resub. Thank you so much for 7 months of support, Chef of Death.
That's the. It's like chef of death. I don't want you cooking my food. No, it's like no. It's DETH.
Yeah, totally different thing.
It's a word. It means deliciousness.
Totally different. It's not
chef of deliciousness.
Yeah, the bad. It's not the bad kind of death.
Yeah,
it's totally cool.
Unfortunate, just translation issue.
Yeah. Traco Gamer, I have. Have you seen that? There's an online vote for naming a boat in the UK, and the current winner is Boaty McBoatface.
What have we learned today, boys and girls?
Never
have an online vote.
No.
Especially not with like a fill-in field.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it actually for Checkpoint. Finishing earlier than usual because we actually started closer to on time than the past couple weeks, so that's good. But first, Jarl of Sweden with a 23-month resub. Welcome back, Jarl of Sweden. Thank you so much for 23 months of support. I got to go film a thing.
Ooh.
And Paul will be back in 50 minutes-ish with things on my stream.
Yay.
What are you playing? More Minish Cap?
More Minish Cap. I'm in the last... I was like, yay, I finished the thing and I got all the stuff. And then it's like, oh, by the way, there's a dungeon before the actual boss part. So if it's still... I will continue to say what I said for the last 3 weeks, which is I think this is going to be the last session.
Miniwhack. I didn't see the birthday thing. Is it your birthday? In which case, happy birthday, Miniwhack. But if it's not your birthday,
to you.
Then not happy birthday.
Happy unbirthday.
Is it the MTG spoiler? Yes.
Shut up.
So, all right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and
it was yesterday. Well,
happy birthday yesterday. Happy yesterday? We'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and there's a new YouTube update covering some relevant information, so check that out, and talk to you later. Don't go away. Paul will be back in 50 minutes.
bye.
Pew. Pew.